Welcome back to another episode of Welding with Mr. Sapanic. Today's lesson will be Chapter 15, Steel to Metal Arc Welding in the Overhead Position. A couple of objectives. We're going to identify common considerations for overhead welding, and we're going to describe the overhead welding procedure. Overhead welding is most similar to flat position. There's only a couple of little obstacles that you have to overcome. Once that is done, then it is just as easy as welding in the flat position. We're going to talk about that. When practicing welding in the overhead position, a positioner is commonly used to secure your workpieces. Now we have our tables that adjust up and down, and there's also a few clamps that you can use to attach those to the tables as well. You want to hold the electrode at a work angle of 90 degrees. Okay, so depending on what you're doing, if this is a joint, you're straight up and down, your electrode's going to be at 45 degrees because you're splitting the difference. And then a drag angle of 10 to 15 degrees. Same thing as in welding in the flat position, except you're completely the opposite. Instead of with the rod angle pushing down, the rod angle is pushing up. Grip the electrode holder so the knuckles of the hand are up and the palm is down. Now you might be asking why the knuckles have to be up and the palm down. Well, if you have your glove exposed, then sparks can fall down and go right into your glove. So if your knuckles are up and your palm is down, the bottom part of your glove where it's open is actually facing down instead of up. A couple of things to remember here. When welding in the overhead position, keep the arc length as short as possible. So if you are in the flat position, you're welding with the 1/8 of an inch electrode arc length. In the overhead position, you want to be about half of that, so about a 1/16 of an inch with your arc extension. A travel angle of 10 to 15 should be used for overhead welding, so just like in the flat position. Grip the electrode holder so the knuckles of the hand are up, palm is down, and stand to the side. Don't stand directly underneath of what it is that you're welding, because all of those sparks and all that slag that's coming off of there, if you're standing under it, then they're just going to land right on you, and then you're going to burn holes in your jacket. You're going to catch sparks in your shirt. So it's not suggested to stand directly under it. Now, there are two different ways to weld in the overhead position. One being straight up and down, with just like we talked, with your rod at a 90-degree angle. The other way is if you were to weld, say, a fillet weld. The angle of the fillet weld would be at a 90 degrees, and the rod angle would be at 45 degrees, pointing up into the joint. Okay, so the easier way is the one where the rod angle is at 45. More difficult way is where that rod angle is at 90 degrees. To minimize the weight of the electrode, use a lightweight whip or support the cable with the other hand. There's a lot of welders that will wrap the cable around their hand or throw it around their neck, or you guys can use a lighter lead because you're only going about 10 feet off of the welder, so you don't have to worry about voltage drop in this situation.